attacked her
dog
really
'cause
bad.
She was protecting her kittens
Right.
and on and on. Yeah.
Right.
It was a problem.
But anyways, that boy said to me, put the dog outside. I said, no, she doesn't leave my side. And he says, I'm afraid she's going to bite me. And I said, not unless I tell her to. Which,
Right.
but he was scared to death of her, and I think that's what really got him out of here quicker
Right.
than, because she was intimidating.
She wasn't liking him at all.
Not at all. She knew, Dobermans are the smartest dog there are. And I'm not saying that because I had him. Because my Doberman that I raised to be champion in obedience, he was trained by a man that did the Connecticut State Police dogs. All German Shepherds, that's what he raised. And even he said the smartest dog is a Doberman. And guess what he said the second smartest dog is?
What is that?
Poodle. A
Yeah,
little
they are
miniature poodle.
smart.
And when
No, they're not my kind of dog.
when Wolfie went through all his training and went to be a champion, his little partner was a little miniature poodle.
Aw.
And Wolfie was a big Doberman, so you should see him doing the little
Oh, they had a
obstacles.
dog
Yeah.
act, huh?
What's that?
They had a dog act.
Well, they didn't have an act, but they did stuff together and they really enjoyed each other's company. It
Yeah.
was weird. But Wolfie, I can't believe that he could do this stuff because he was a big Doberman. And he'd go through the window and on a little piece of wood, and he was really. But my husband and I, it must have been a good time for us because we trained him 2 hours every night, and he became a champion of obedience. And I didn't have any. My one Doberman was pointed, but she died before she could.
Right. Okay.
My sister-in-law had a dog that she could tell it to lay down with its paws like that and then put a piece of food on its nose.
And it would stay there and
And
wait.
just wait until she said, okay, and then it'd toss it up and catch it.
Yeah,
I've
it
never
takes
trained
time.
dogs like that.
Oh, I love.
I'm not good at training either.
No.
Well, little.
Come and sit.
My last dog, Yuli, I didn't even have to talk to her. Just like, whatever, but I was with her 24/7.
Yeah.
And she knew we couldn't spell in front of her because she knew what we were saying.
Right.
Just nearly
That's
killed
too
me.
cool.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, I
go
can believe it.
No, SHE can't, GOOUT. And she bowed out the door right
Oh.
away.
Are we going somewhere?
I
Yeah.
swear to God, she was too much.
I think that's too cool. Me and Sue was talking earlier at her house that most animals have a certain amount of intellect, and they have a whole lot of traits that are exactly the same as ours.
Oh, yes.
So that says that is a trait of maybe all life forms.
I think so.
We all mother and protect the
Yeah.
young.
We're
We
a lot
all
more
want to be
attached to
safe
animals.
and kind and live good lives.
Yeah.
We're all the
We're
same.
very attached. And I've always been into animals, even,
Right.
and living in the middle of nowhere. And my kids went to school, they left at 4:45 in the morning. They had to walk 1.5 miles to the bus in the mountains, like straight up.
Uphill.
You wonder why
I
they're
did
tough?
that to my kids too.
And they got home at 5:15 at night, and I was on no car, no utilities, no water, just the Great Danes and me.
And the wolves and the
And
bears and the...
I used to actually, I know this is hard to believe, but this was years ago, and I would be out hanging the clothes out on the line, and a bear would go across the yard, or a wolf, or whatever. They didn't even pay any attention to me. But I'd be out there humming,
Right.
Doing your own thing.
and they knew I had the Great Danes. I had 6 full-grown
Okay.
breeding stock.
So you weren't just another critter.
No, but they were.
They knew you had dogs.
Yeah, they knew I had something there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bear got behind he used to like getting in the pickup truck and going behind the wheel of the pickup truck.
Yeah.
You
No,
wanted
I'm
to
talking
drive.
just black bears.
Yeah.
Where I lived, we didn't have grizzly bears, but you don't go near a grizzly. They had those. Did you ever go to Wyoming and see them?
I've
I've
seen
seen
them.
them.
I've seen them up there.
No.
They're
no,
like
no.
if I stood on your shoulders.
They're so
Yeah, I
huge.
No, they're tall. They're
They're
12
huge.
foot. Yeah.
And they're
I couldn't
nasty.
believe it.
I
Yeah.
even got close to buffalo up there
Yeah.
in Yellowstone Park.
Yeah, in
They
Yellowstone.
walk right up to the car and
Yeah.
look right in the window.
They have so many animals in Yellowstone. Isn't it awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got close to elk and,
Yeah.
and some, it was something else.
Well, I
Those
don't.
ponds that
I don't-
hot water.
Yeah, those are
That
cool.
was cool.
What
Have
was?
you been there? It was just like a
The geysers?
hot water spring.
Oh.
But this was just
Not
little,
geysers.
Little ones. There's geysers there
Oh
too.
yeah,
but
those,
this was
somebody
just
was ready to fall in a geyser a couple weeks ago, taking a picture just like they do in Sedona. know.
That'd be
Right.
it.
No, I was young and I thought it was really cool that I was able to do all that I did, but now I'm looking back with torn rotator cuffs and this and that, saying, what are they, nuts? But no, I
Yeah.
wasn't, because if I wasn't with Fred and didn't do that, I wouldn't have experienced
Right.
all the really different, exciting things that I did.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
And that's what they mean about the quality of your life. Adventures.
yeah, adventures.
Yeah,
Not sure
adventures.
we had 'em.
Did you get the adrenaline going
yeah.
at times, you know? And,
Yeah.
and plus, you start unraveling all those other little packages
yeah.
like growth,
Mhm.
kindness. You know, you start,
Yeah.
you figure out, you go through every one of those items that means being
Yeah.
human, you know, and it's cool.
It really is. You know, I've always been, ever since I was a little girl, I was really kind to people.
Yeah.
Ridiculously.
Mhm.
We're a lot alike.
Okay.
I think if we were in high school together, we would have been best friends.
Yeah, that would have been
We
fun.
have a lot in common. I knew that the first time I met Sue because we can't help who we are.
Right.
And like my kids get mad at me because they think that I'm too nice to people and that I should just, you know, this and that. And I was telling you that when we first met, and Sue said, yeah, but we are who we are.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I actually read that they had, in Cottonwood a while ago, they were gonna have a class on smiling.
Mhm.
I've always smiled at people since I was a little girl. Okay, maybe in Manhattan I don't. In New York I don't.
Yeah.
I don't, you gotta look straight ahead, but I've always been that way and still to this day. I go into bashes and I'm smiling, hugging the old people after we chat and everything, so I've always been a little different. So I'm glad I found the church because, well, not church.
Yeah.
We're like minds up there.
See you.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we're all in, Kimberly's one of her little
She's so
ads
lovely.
that she writes in there. She says she calls us all misfits,
Yeah.
like us. So she's counting herself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wasn't that touching when Arvel talked about Kimberly reading the article that Gary wrote and having like this epiphany to apologize to him for something?
they're such a lovely couple.
They really are. They're
really
really
are.
working on themselves too. I like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, that was the yin yang story I was telling them about the wife and I arguing and how she came with hostility and anger, and then I whipped out love on her and changed her mind completely.
Really?
Yeah, it worked. But that's what I have always done most of my life is take a situation and try to turn it around so that I can benefit by it. And sometimes I see a path where both of us benefit.
Yeah.
And that has become more and more my choice as I'm getting older.
Yeah.
I look for win-win situations. And at the very least, I'm going to win.
Yeah.
In every
Yeah.
situation, but
Even
I
if she
look for
doesn't enjoy it.
equality.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll have
funny
a
how-
quiet house. That's
Right.
what I was thinking.
It's funny how things seem so different when you get older, you know?
how
So
so?
much is
I just
gone.
think we know a lot, and I don't mean to be bragging, but we really do know a
We
lot.
have a lot
We've
of
learned,
wisdom.
if you open your mind over the years, you learn and bring everything into you, if you know what I mean.
Well, that's called growth and maturity.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah,
under
we-
control of our hormones anymore, so we're not.
You mean the hormones aren't
Aren't in
controlling
control
you?
of us,
No, I
yeah.
never
Right.
hated
We're
that.
being controlled by.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
can kind of calm down on that. I look at it as a perfect opportunity for spiritual growth.
Yes.
This age.
Yeah.
We've got all of that out of the way. We raised our families. We
Mm-hmm.
did our jobs.
And now we can understand stuff. Huh?
Yeah.
We look for why we here. And that part never interested me.
Never
Not,
did before.
not
Wow.
once did that interest me. What I always thought was the smarter use of my time was, I'm here, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can I do to have fun, enjoy the day?
What did you
Yeah.
do as a job when you were younger?
I was an engineer. I started being that at age 20
Wow.
in Cleveland, Ohio.
You know, if I find one more person from Cleveland, I told Marcy that, Marcy across the street's from Cleveland.
Right.
And I said, and you are too, and I said,
We're in
I don't know what it is, but lately, everybody I say, where are you from? Cleveland. It's like,
What?
What
there's
is
some,
this?
gotta be some meaning
You're all
to
here in
that.
Arizona.
Yes,
or
the
what?
meaning is it's a great place to be from.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very
Everybody
proud.
got out of
Yeah,
there.
me too.
Okay.
When I first moved out here 19 years ago, I couldn't find a person from Connecticut. I lived all over the state, Sedona, no one.
Right.
All of a sudden, in the last few years, it's like Connecticut, Connecticut. They said 49% of the people want to move out of New York and Connecticut.
Right.
And I'm very proud that I'm from Connecticut. The educational systems there are wonderful, and there's many wonderful things, but I don't even like going back there. You know, I really don't.
I
You don't
don't
wanna live
either. That's why
anywhere
the
where it's
wife
that
went
cold.
by herself.
Yeah, I really don't like it. I don't like
I didn't
flying.
want to go. You know, I'm through with that. I during the '80s, every year I buried
too.
a relative.
Oh, jeez.
I hated this shit. I had to keep flying back there, you know, and then I got to the point where I said, this is not right. I need to go see them while they're alive and
Yep,
show them
that's
some
right.
love.
Definitely.
And when they die, just let them die. I'm
Yeah,
not
right.
coming.
Because
Okay.
they're certainly not there with their body at that
Right.
point.
So I changed my tactic there again. And
That's smart.
when I got back east, because I traveled a lot.
Yeah.
When I got back there, I'd stop in and see all of them.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
just let
nice.
them know I loved them, was thinking about them, and you know,
Nice.
had great memories of them as a kid.
Yeah.
So I tell you guys that
Yeah.
in my tales.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I just love that.
I know, I miss relatives that are
And
not
the
with
best thing to do is
Love
love
'em
the
now.
people you got
Yeah.
while you got the opportunity,
Yeah.
because you may not get it again. You know?
Yeah, that's
I was
true.
listening to that song the other day, In the Living Years.
Right.
You know,
I remember that
yeah,
too.
I
Yeah, it
hadn't
was
heard
kind
it
of
in
cool.
forever.
What was
and I
that?
thought, In the Living Years, it's like, tell them you love them while you're
Oh,
alive.
yeah, definitely, well, they're
Yeah.
alive.
Right.
You know, my parents were really good parents, they really were. My mother was the governor's secretary. My father, you know this show because you're old like us, Highway Patrol with Roger Crawford.
Yeah, I remember
Okay,
that
those,
one.
a lot of those were after my dad, because he was famous.
Okay.
And my uncle was the high sheriff in a county for 35 years. And I tell her to brag about him too because he was so kind. When I think of what Jesse's like at this jail, my uncle used to bring some of the prisoners home to help him cook and out in the yard because he believed in rehabilitation.
Right.
Not here. Jesse told me that those people, they get out on their back, they get out their back, they treat him like crap. He's been in there a year and he was only let outside twice in a year.
Outside of the jail.
And what they do is they make 7 meals for a week, and then they repeat the same thing every single week. Holidays, they don't get anything. I mean, it's not a very nice place at all. And I'm not saying where my uncle worked was, but I come from kind people like that.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I was watching TV last night, and the lady who bribed the schools to let her daughter in
Oh,
Yeah.
is going to.
She's gonna go to jail.
She's gonna go to Club Med though. They've got
Yeah.
an exercise room.
Yeah.
They've got TV till
Mhm.
And it's
11.
like what, 20
She
days or
requested it,
something
And
like
then
14.
they
that?
had
14 days. Okay.
yeah Martha Stewart on there saying she went to another Club Med.
Yeah.
How
not
you
the
know
same
she
one.
did? She was in there teaching
Yeah.
cooking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I
know
mean,
that.
it's like, come on, the real jail is not like that.
No, it's not.
For rich people.
No, this
it
girl
is.
requested
Yeah,
the
for
jail.
rich. But
They're gonna give her what she requested in Northern
Yeah.
California.
in 14 days, are you kidding me?
That's a joke. Because if they put her in the population, she'd be going bye-bye, let me tell you. My kid couldn't get into college.
Mhm.
I'm telling you,
Yeah, that was the unfair part.
yeah, it is unfair.
Also,
But
this
the other
coach-
one driven $500,000 to say that her kids are on the rowing team, and they didn't even want to go to college. Mother made them.
Yeah.
I don't know how my
Coach
kids,
Revere.
my kids turned out good. I don't know how.
Mine too,
No.
I'm thankful for that.
Well,
So-
you know why we pay attention to them.
So what is the takeaway from that whole episode of busting them women? What's the takeaway?
If you've got money, you can buy your
That's
way
right.
out. That's
And
what I take
That
from
was
it.
always the way it was.
It was.
They've been doing that stuff for years.
Nothing new, just
Since they invented
reinforcement.
money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. What's the real takeaway from this, or is this just it was a story so they could push it and you know?
Well, to get the dander up
probably
of
a
the
lot of
people who
it.
can't afford for their kids to go to college too, you know, low income people. You know, I guess that probably makes them angry too.
Yeah,
you know?
but she only did that for one person. She couldn't have
I know.
helped all of the
Well, the
low
other-
income people. You know what
I
I'm
know.
saying? What's the
I just
real
can't-
takeaway?
I just
from
think
that?
it's always been going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I lived, Middletown, Connecticut is a college town with Wesleyan University, and a lot of big people, important people, their kids go there. It's a
Right.
liberal arts college. And I remember way back when I was a teenager, meeting these kids. They didn't do anything in college, but they passed.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's a hard school,
yeah.
you know, but Daddy and Mommy, you know, actually one of them was a relative of a Kennedy.
Okay.
But, and I love the Kennedys, but this was a relative, it wasn't a Kennedy, it was not a Shriver, one of those names. And he didn't wanna do a damn thing, you know, so they just wanna party.
I always liked the Ziggy cartoon. The guy gets all the way to the top of the hill, Ziggy, and he sees the guru up there and he says, "Tell me the meaning to life." And the guru says, "Man does not live by bread alone, but if you've got bread, man, you ain't gonna be alone."
Right. That's true.
Well, you know, my oldest daughter, 'cause we didn't, my husband did pay for the kids, some of the kids' education. But Chrissy, I lived in Colorado at the time, and she went back, everybody's kids were going to the beaches for
Right.
spring break, not my daughter. She was going to ski in Vermont. And I was actually picking on my friends, I'm going, yeah, they'll be wearing bikinis. My daughter came home pregnant from the ski instructor, okay, who was married.
Yeah.
All right, she never even dated in high school because she was totally into she was a journalist, you know, and wrote the obituaries for the Colorado Springs paper. Well, she was in high school.
Right.
So we went back to Connecticut for a while because my son was going to college and everything. And she didn't have a car, and I said, well, guess what, Chris? There's a convalescent home down the road there.
Right.
It was only a couple blocks away. I says, you're gonna have to get a job there, huh? They lived with us, her and the baby. And she goes, okay, she was real good about it, worked as a nurse's aide. Before you know it, she went to school and became an RN. Then she got her bachelor's, her master's, her doctorate. Then when she was 45 years old, she became a medical doctor and also a professor at Yale.
Okay.
So now she worked 3 jobs. One of them was giving the cards for marijuana, and she doesn't smoke. But now she moved to Florida and she only has 1 job and she doesn't know what to do with herself because she's used to making such big money. But she owns houses in Florida and land and all that. But she worked her ass off to get there.
Right.
It took her till she was 45. Now she's 54.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But Fred helped her a little bit, but we didn't have the money. You know what I mean?
My
So-
son went through Embry-Riddle,
Oh, that's a good school.
graduated Sigma cum laude,
There you go.
$100,000 in debt.
Yeah.
So 800 or so a month out of his income that he makes
Yeah.
has to go back to pay that.
My daughter
government.
Jennifer, that's the teacher, she's still paying her student loans. I think it's
He
down
went till
pretty
he
much
dies,
now.
I think.
You know?
That's why I keep hoping one of these presidents will, because they have said they could take
Yeah.
the money from somewhere, I'm forgetting where right now. That wouldn't really matter to
Do you
anybody.
take something in your coffee?
Do you have honey?
I do have honey.
Spoon of honey?
It's this honey right here that my son bought here.
That works.
Do you take half and half or anything?
If you have it.
Okay. Yeah, my daughter brought me. Come on out. I'll pour your coffee.
Well, I'll
in here.
stop
Keep
this.
cups.